I survived a motorcycle accident I shouldn't have. Hey everyone, I wanted to share an experience that happened to me a few years ago, one that still sends chills down my spine and leaves me questioning the nature of reality. I'm a 26-year-old male, and back when I was in university, I commuted on a motorcycle. I used to love the sense of freedom and speed, though I often pushed the limits more than I should have. It was an ordinary day, and I was running late for class. I remember vividly the anxiety and urgency pulsing through me as I sped down the familiar Tulane road to campus. The sun was just starting to rise, casting long shadows across the pavement, and the air was crisp. I had the road mostly to myself, so I didn't think twice about gunning the engine to make up for lost time. As I rounded a bend, I suddenly saw a horse guard emerge from a side path, moving onto the main road and completely blocking both lanes. The cart, laden with hay, seemed to move in slow motion, while the horse plodded along, oblivious to the danger I was going to fast to stop in time. My heart leapt into my throat as the realization hit me I was going to crash right into the middle of the horse and the cart. I was about 5 meters away when panic took over. Instinctively, I closed my eyes, bracing for the inevitable impact. I felt a jolt like a sudden drop on a roller coaster, and then nothing. No crash, no pain, just an eerie silence. When I opened my eyes, I found myself on the side of the road. My bike was stationary, the engine idling softly. The road ahead of me was clear, as if the horse guard had never been there. Dazed and confused, I turned around and saw the cart, but now it was 15 meters behind me, continuing its slow journey as if nothing had happened. I sat there, heart racing, trying to piece together what had just occurred. I hadn't applied my brakes, there were no skid marks on the road, no signs of a sudden stop or swerve. It was as if I had been plucked from one spot and placed gently down in another, completely bypassing the danger in front of me. I can't explain it to this day. I've gone over the incident in my mind countless times, trying to rationalize it. Did I black out and somehow maneuver to safety without realizing it? Was it a hallucination brought on by adrenaline and fear? Or was it something beyond the realm of the natural? A glitch in the fabric of reality itself. Since that day, I've been more cautious, not just on the road, but in questioning the very nature of the world around me. Every time I pass that spot, I feel a cold shiver and a sense of unease, as if reality could shift again at any moment. Has anyone else experienced something like this? I'd love to hear your thoughts or similar stories. Thanks for reading, and stay safe out there. Update. Hey everyone, I wanted to provide an update on my bizarre motorcycle incident. First, thank you to everyone who commented and shared their thoughts and experiences. It's comforting to know I'm not alone in dealing with these strange occurrences. After sharing my story, I received a flood of responses with theories ranging from time slips to guardian angels. Inspired by the support and curiosity from this community, I decided to investigate further. First, I revisited the scene of the incident multiple times, hoping to find some clue I might have missed. Each time, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. The spot where the horse guard appeared seemed ordinary, but there was an uncanny sense of déjà vu, as if the location held some secret just out of reach. I spoke with a few locals, asking if they had noticed anything unusual about that road. Most shrugged it off, but one elderly man, a long-time resident, told me a story that sent chills down my spine. He recalled an old legend about that stretch of road being cursed. According to him, many accidents had occurred there over the years, but often without the expected consequences. Vehicles would suddenly avoid collisions, and people would find themselves unharmed in situations that should have been fatal. The legend suggested that the area was a thin place where the boundary between our reality and another was weak. Intrigued but skeptical, I decided to take my investigation a step further. I borrowed a dash cam from a friend and started recording my rides, hoping to capture any unusual events. For weeks, everything was normal until one particular evening. I was driving home, not far from the scene of the original incident, when the dashcam caught something eerie. As I approached the bend where the horse cart had appeared, the footage showed a brief, inexplicable distortion. The road ahead blurred and shimmered for a split second, and then everything was back to normal. It was subtle but unmistakable. When I reviewed the footage frame by frame, I could see a shadowy figure at the edge of the distortion, like a ghostly silhouette. It lasted only a moment before vanishing. Disturbed but determined, I continued my research. I reached out to a physics professor at my university, someone known for his open-mindedness regarding unexplained phenomena. When I showed him the footage, he was fascinated. He explained that while there was no scientific consensus on thin places, some theories in quantum physics suggested that certain areas could have unique properties, potentially allowing for anomalies in space-time. Encouraged by his interest, I dug deeper into the history of the area. Old newspapers and local archives revealed a series of strange accidents dating back decades. In many cases, the survivors described experiences similar to mine: unexplained shifts in position, missing time, and feelings of being watched. One particularly eerie account from the 1950s described a man who claimed he saw his doppelganger standing at the side of the road just before narrowly avoiding a head-on collision. I also began having strange dreams, vivid and unsettling. In these dreams, I was always back on that road, but it was different, darker, more ominous. I would see the horse cart, the horse's eyes glowing an unnatural red, and hear whispers that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, my heart pounding. The culmination of these experiences has left me with more questions than answers. Is there a rational explanation rooted in quantum anomalies? Or is there something supernatural at play, a hidden force that intervenes in moments of imminent danger? I'm not sure I'll ever fully understand what happened to me that day, but I'm grateful for the second chance I was given. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that reality is far more mysterious and complex than we often realize. I'll continue to explore this enigma, and if I uncover anything more, I promise to share it with this incredible community. Thank you again for your support and insights. Stay curious and be mindful of the thin places where reality might just slip. Update 2. Hey everyone, this will be my final update regarding the strange motorcycle incident that happened a few years ago. First, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you who have followed my story, offered theories, and provided support. Your engagement has been invaluable as I navigated this surreal experience. Since my last update, I've continued my investigation with a mix of fascination and apprehension. I felt compelled to find some closure, some understanding of what happened to me on that road. A few weeks ago, I was contacted by a man named Dr. Samuel Price, a retired physicist with a deep interest in anomalous phenomena. He had read about my experience through a mutual contact and offered to visit the site with me. Dr. Price had spent years researching locations known as thin places, where the boundaries between realities are believed to be weak. His expertise seemed like the missing piece in my puzzle. We met at the university and drove to the infamous stretch of road. As we walked the area, Dr. Price used various instruments to measure electromagnetic fields, radiation levels, and other environmental factors. It was a clear, calm day, much like the day of the original incident. The air felt heavy with anticipation, as if the road itself held its breath. After hours of scanning and measuring, we decided to take a break. Dr. Price shared some of his findings. The area had unusually high electromagnetic activity and slight radiation fluctuations, but nothing that could definitively explain what had happened. It was perplexing and frustrating. Then, something extraordinary happened. As we were packing up, a dense fog began to roll in out of nowhere, blanketing the road and reducing visibility to almost nothing. The temperature dropped suddenly, and an eerie silence fell over the area. We both felt a palpable sense of foreboding. I glanced at Dr. Price, who looked as startled as I felt. Without saying a word, we both knew we had to stay and observe. Moments later, through the thick fog, we saw the outline of a horse cart just like the one I had encountered years ago. The horse's eyes seemed to glow a faint red, exactly as they had in my dreams. The cart moved slowly, almost deliberately, as if it were aware of our presence. Time seemed to stretch and warp. I felt disoriented, as if I were on the verge of slipping into another reality. Dr. Price grabbed my arm, grounding me in the moment. We watched in silent awe and terror as the horse cart passed by us, its wheels making no sound on the asphalt. The figure driving the cart was shadowy, indistinct, and when it turned its head to look at us, I felt an overwhelming sense of déjà vu. As suddenly as it had appeared, the horse cart vanished into the fog. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the temperature returned to normal. Dr. Price and I were left standing in stunned silence, our minds reeling from what we had just witnessed. Afterward, Dr. Price suggested that the horse cart might be a manifestation of the thin place, a sort of echo or overlap from another dimension or time. He theorized that my original experience might have been a moment where these realities briefly intersected, allowing me to avoid the accident through some unknown mechanism. We documented our experience and shared our findings with a few trusted colleagues, but the reactions were mixed. Some were intrigued, others skeptical. Regardless, I felt a sense of closure. While I might never fully understand what happened, I now had a framework to contextualize the events. Dr. Price and I have kept in touch, and he continues his research into thin places. As for me, I've moved on, but I carry with me a heightened awareness of the world's mysteries. I've learned to appreciate the unknown and the unexplainable, accepting that some questions may never have definitive answers. Thank you to everyone who has followed my journey. Your support has been a beacon of light through this strange and unsettling experience. Stay curious, stay safe, and remember that reality is often stranger than fiction.